In today's video, you are going to learn what the absolute worst pin to be in chess looks like. Or if you want to look at the glass half full, you're going to learn what the absolute best pin to put your opponents into looks like. Here we go. So it looks like this. It looks like nothing at first, just a regular pin on the knight against the king. But what I want to showcase here is how black actually runs out of moves. This is the most uncomfortable thing you can be in. White to play, there's lots of ways to proceed here. Obviously, it's a silly example. We're completely winning. But have a look at this. White can play g4 with the idea to win the knight with g5. Notice a few things. The knight can't move, and the king would love to move out of this pin, but the two squares that it wants to use are g6 and f7, because that would keep guarding the knight. Any other square, you just lose the knight. f7 will never be available because the pawn can't move because of the pin. So g6 is the only square. It's the only way to try to get out of it. So you might play g5. Okay, you want to go king there, I get it. But remember, if I push this pawn, right? If you take it, I can play g5. If you play king g6, you've gotten out of the pin, but after h5, barring you giving up your knight, you're going to have to walk right back into it. And white can just enjoy himself here by playing a move like this, just keeping that pin, and then f3, just to prove a point here. And that point that I'm proving is that eventually it'll be a Zugzwang, and you can win that knight. So I'm going to show you what it looks like in some games that I found of mine. This is a regular game from a Blitz game that I played, a regular position rather, and black plays the move queen there, and immediately I play queen e5. Again, it kind of looks like nothing, like, okay, whatever, black can just maybe offer a queen trade. After queen b6, b4, a5, the knight's even protected. But if you don't know what's coming, then you're not going to know how nasty it's going to be. This needs to be solved immediately. Black needs to play king g8, or needs to play queen d8, or needs to guard that knight. If you don't get out of the pin, you're going to lose very quickly. I played the move g4. Black didn't see the danger coming. Obviously, it's just a blitz game, but it illustrates what I was talking about. h4. Now, the move g5 is useless because when the queen goes to g5, you'll always win the knight by force. Every single time. The queen check. So it's impossible for that king to get out of the pin in either direction. And if there's no bishop, dark square bishop around, this is a forever pin. So you can see here, the move g5 just wins the knight easily. Another example from one of my games that I played in a Title Tuesday is right here in front of you. Black played the move king g7. It looks like a regular move. King g7, why would you not play that? Queen d4. I get that pin once again. g5 is a tough move to play. It won't help your cause with that bishop there. And you can see how this game developed. Bishop c4 using this pin, pins all over the place, and bishop e6 defending. And black just didn't see the danger coming. Now g4, and if g5, knight h5 wins. So this is a really, really nasty pin. You can use your pawns, g-pawn and h-pawn, to push up the board. Black's king can almost never get out of it. In fact, it's the best kind of pin when you get it even closer, queen on e5. Because then g5 is not even playable sometimes. So I hope I've illustrated just how nasty this pin is. It looks like nothing, but it's super uncomfortable for your opponents to actually endure and to play with. So let's get into the video where I think we see a pretty good example of what it looks like in action, and you can hear some of my thoughts against ChessExplained. Enjoy. Right before the break. ChessExplained. Well, that already means we're going to have no opening advantage to speak of. Can't keep up with Buddy's theory. I wonder if knight b5 is any kind of playable here. No, it's silly. Silly. I think rook e8 first has to be a bit more precise, if I had to guess. Ooh, okay, never mind. Whatever just happened was extremely favorable for me. Normally this is a bit of an annoying position because black plays like bishop here, rook here, and I have to do a few gymnastics, maybe bring the knight here. I have pieces on the wrong side of the board. But the way that black's played here is extremely friendly. And I don't know, it just seems like, what have I done to deserve this, you know? Thinking of something like that, but queen b6 is always a really annoying move there. Take, offer another trade. I mean, there's no other way to put it. White just stands a bit better. It's not necessarily a winning advantage right now. It could certainly turn into one. That pawn being loose is probably going to cause him to play exactly a6. King here. If he plays king g7 and we ever get queen e5, just know that that's going to be a very nice advantage. Takes, knight h5, knight e2. We clear this square for our queen. h3 I really don't believe in. I mean, it seems like a pawn that as soon as you trade the queens, that's immediately a bad pawn. Like I just play g4 and go win it. So do h3, but I think it's something you come to perhaps regret later. Definitely made the right choice to play h4 there. I think it was possible for me to play g4, but a little bit too risky for my liking. Gives up some dark squares. Queen b6 loses the game. And any move that allows me to play queen e5, I probably consider close to a blunder. If my queen's allowed to stay there, because this pin is so nasty. Yeah, so I think he wants to play this. So I'm actually going to move this knight. My only question is bishop b5, but that's a bit nonsensical. Queen d4. Okay, so he wants this. You can always play g4 here. He's allowing me to play queen e5. He checks me, I go here. He checks me, I go here. I think that pin is lethal. And it's only fitting for me to play this move, I think, now. Because I kind of called it out and said, look, if he lets me play queen e5, then I have to. Like, it's just... this is a really good move. Now he can play queen e8. I'm going to drop back to d4. maintain the pin. You can give me this check and maybe go queen e6. I'm probably still gonna drop back to d4. Yeah, so let's keep this pin. Very annoying pin. g4, g5, knight f4, knight d5. There's a few good ideas here. Yeah, g4 will be a good move. c4 exists. What about c4? I don't think he can take this. The bishop here. I'm probably missing something. We can only assume I am, but I thought this was a very simple pin. If I played bishop there, he had bishop f3 winning my queen, but I thought this was relatively easy. It's a nice game. It's a nice game. Took a small weakness and made it into a big advantage. This was about as good as you could get. So here, black's doing great. I mean, the London's never supposed to yield an advantage. It's around equal, but I think a good equal for black. But knight takes d4 is so friendly. Black needs to be playing moves like bishop h3, you know, rook e8, and, you know, queen moves somewhere, knight e4, knight e5, and just try to say these knights are never good. One thing that's absolutely true in chess, if you have knights like this, when you trade the knights, you're literally trading this knight for this knight. If you think about black's position, that makes no sense to do. Why would you trade these knights? I know you're playing knight takes d4, but you're actually trading for the knight on b3. And it feels like you're making an even trade here, but this trade, if you like, if you just ask black, okay, I'll take my knight on b3 and your knight on c6 off the board. Of course, he should never agree. When the knights are like this, ready to support each other, you usually want to avoid taking the knight in front. By playing a move like knight e5, for example, you already make this guy look a little stupid because what is he doing? Like, it's just not participating in the game. So this move was extremely nice for me to see. f3 to control some light squares, and then just trading everything because the rooks only help black. Now I think I'm threatening h4. I know it's weird to say threat, but more pawns on the board, the better for me in the endgame. So I think his move h4 was really good. But then here, I think I was on the right track. It's really well known that this pin is actually one of the worst to have in chess. It's a strange thing to say, but this pin is so like permanent. You can never get out of it with your king. You can't move the knight, you can't move your king. It ties down like just everything there. So simply maintaining this was enough. He goes here and I think c4 was correct. He should just move the bishop back here or something, but he takes and, well, it's just a blunder. He wanted this, I think, but bishop e4 just accurate and game ends. It's a nice game, but knight takes d4 was the first serious error, I think, back here. Knight takes d4, I think it's a big mistake, fundamentally. And then allowing my queen to get on that diagonal. I was calling for this during the entire game, but yeah, as soon as my queen got here, might not be actually over, but it's a very, very nasty pin where white's just always going to be in charge.